So we're basically here today to represent the New York Dream Act. And what is the New York Dream Act? It's a bill that, when passed, would allow undocumented students to have access to TAP and other state-funded financial aid. And we're here today to rally to all the Assembly members and senators who right now don't co-sponsor the bill, and we need them to vote yes for the bill to be passed by June. So everybody's ready? Yeah!
Okay, I'm here because I really want the Dream Act to pass, and if not in the federal level, at least in the state level. I personally know how much I struggled post-high school graduation, and I don't, that struggle shouldn't keep happening.
Oh, I'm here to support the Dream Act because as an African immigrant, there are so many challenges that we are facing from our kids in school. It's affecting our kids in school because they have two places that they are calling home. So we want to be, I'm here basically to support this dream because our kids, they should know that America is also their home. So if the Dream Act is passed, it means even our kids, they'll have a better life, a better future. Like I have a dream of my son, he wants to be a lawyer. And if that dream is discouraged, if the school system doesn't recognize immigrants, then his dream is totally shattered. So that's why I'm basically here.
Immigration reform is one of the most important things that people can pay attention to now. The Dream Act needs to pass so that people can educate themselves and contribute to this society, and it's so stupid for governments to not allow people to attend college.
I see every day that the immigrants people, the children, they come here in this country when they are very little, and they go to public school because they can go, but after that they cannot get their higher education. Where this country, and I think everywhere, also my country, Bangladesh also, they said that education is the main right. I mean the 5 basic rights, so education one of that. But if children, they cannot get education, so I don't know how this country's future also depends on them.
I also grew up in an area with lots of undocumented friends, and I watched myself go on to college while they stayed behind, unable to enroll in classes. So the New York State Dream Act, even if it's not the federal legislation that we wanted, represents major change for everyone from Europe, from South America, from Mexico, from all over.
Levántate. Levántate. Levántate.
Wait, don't get in my way, sir. Sorry.
Y repítame. Sí.
Sí.
Se. Puede. Otra vez en voz alto. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Otra vez. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. I want to make sure we were here, because you're in Albany now. And in Albany, if you're not heard, you don't exist. ¿Me entiendes? If you're not heard, you don't exist. So I'm very proud and pleased to see that so many of you have traveled so far for this very, very important piece of legislation that you've given me the honor to sponsor. Those who will be the beneficiaries not only of the legislation, but also those who will be the contributors to the future of our great state, to the future of our great nation. So give yourselves a round of applause.
I want to make sure that every young person in this state, every student who has the ability and the drive and the desire to go to college, to realize their potential, to lift up their family, lift up themselves, and most importantly, to contribute to the city of New York, the state of New York, and to the United States of America, has the opportunity to do so. Why wouldn't we welcome all these young people here today to go and get college degrees, have careers, enter professions, they'll pay even more in taxes than they're paying now, and contribute to this great country. This is a state that was built by immigrants, and it is going to continue to be a state that supports and nurtures our immigrant community from wherever they come across the globe, because it is the right thing for the state of New York. I'm so glad that you're up here today to get that message to my colleagues. Many of them need to hear it, and many others are going to make it a priority to pass the DREAM Act, the DREAM Fund here in New York State this session.
It affects me. I struggled a lot to go to college, and even once I graduated from college, it's sort of like an empty graduation. There's like always like that what's next, that gamble, and you're always feeling jeopardy. So I just want some sort of stableness in a place where I feel comfortable.
We're all one. And the fact that I was born over there, or right here, doesn't affect the fact that we are all still one. I think of the DREAM Act as righting the wrongs of what has gotten to be very unpleasant and mean immigration policy towards people. And I sometimes lose a little bit of faith, but on a day like today, I am optimistic again.
We know that when it comes to immigrant students, minority students, students of color, and the poor, there's such a high number of them, whether documented or not, that are dropping out, that we're failing to begin with. Where undocumented students and their families probably have the biggest challenge of anyone to really bring food to the table and to really help themselves. And that includes the students. So if we have invested already in helping them get to a high school diploma, why are we throwing the rope? Why are we throwing away the ladder? Why, when we have invested already in every single student that have been able to graduate in spite of all the odds, why are we saying no to them? What happened to that investment? So the New York DREAM Act says, no. The greatest investment that we could make for our future as New Yorkers and as Americans is to allow students to continue their higher education, graduate from the university, and help us come from under. This is what the New York DREAM Act is about, and that's why I'm so proud to be the sponsor of this legislation. But this is time for New York to step up and say yes to the students.
Unafraid, undocumented, and 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 unafraid.
Just like many of you that are here, I also came to this country undocumented. I happen to think that the American dream is made up of flesh and bones, and that each and every one of you are that dream. And that this particular piece of legislation carries with it a very important name, the DREAM Act, because it represents the aspirations and the goals and objectives and the dreams of each and every one of us. Okay, 10 years ago we said you were a New York State student and you can come into SUNY and CUNY and some of the other colleges, but you have to pay out of your pocket. And many of you cannot afford to do that. So this is the second leg of this effort to ensure that each and every one of you now have the opportunity, the economic means to enter college, so that the American dream, which I think is made up of flesh and bones, is each and every one of you. Is that a romantic verse in a poem, or a nice word in a song, or a wonderful chapter in a book? It is each and every one of you.
Ain't about the power of the people, the power of the people. Say what?